Test. Actually, we're gonna keep it at 4 just so that way I don't have to mess around with it. Just currently midnight-ish of the night. And I just figured I'd come out and record another little yap sesh in the park, middle of the night, because why not? I got glasses, finally. I've had glasses, I just never wore them because they were broken on the side. But I got these because I feel like I look better with them. I don't wear them every day, but I feel like I look better with these style than I did with the last one. These style with this style. And also got a new hat, which I really like. And if for whatever reason you were wondering, why is this guy wearing a hat in the middle of the night? Now that I think about it, frame glasses, hat. I look like your everyday creep. Oh man, I did not just say that in my own yap slash. Anyways, this is the brand. This is the brand motto, actually. In case you can't see it, it says "Strive for Better." So I figured I might as well just kind of yap a little bit about what that means, maybe how that came to be about. I won't go too much into detail with it. That's a video for another time, a yap for another time. But strive for better. What does that mean? I don't know. I kind of looked it up, definition-wise, what striving means, and striving, I believe, says something along the lines of like an active pursuit after something. An active pursuit, meaning it isn't just stagnant. It isn't something that just happens. It's something that requires action. Something that requires a series of actions that leads to something. You know, we could just sit around, take action, but that doesn't mean that anything gets done. I could literally sit here and wave my arms around. Doesn't mean that anything gets created. Just means I look stupid. So striving is an active pursuit or a series of actions in pursuit of a particular outcome. Now, what does better mean? I didn't look that one up, but better simply means not bad or different, increased benefit per se, essentially getting out of what was and becoming and being what is in comparison to what was. So, for example, let's take a heartbreak, for example, because that's something that's been fairly prominent, something that many people can relate to. When the moment happens, it's not fun. It's traumatizing, hurtful, very dark, lonely. All these negative things. But yet, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, 2 years down the line, you've found other reasons to be happy. You've found other reasons to be smiled. You've created new connections with people. And maybe if you're not even in a relationship, you've come to understand and find out what it's like to connect with people again. You've come to find out what makes you smile again. You've come to find something that occupies you enough to feel fulfilled or to be fulfilled. So when you look back at the heartbreak, at the hurt, at the pain, at the dark times that you went through, the things you experienced, from the perspective of where you're at now, or where you're at, 2 years down the line, it doesn't hurt as much. if at all. And it takes time. But you're better off at that point than when it first happens. So if we put strive for better together, an active pursuit or a series of actions pursuing after, better is kind of its own word. An active pursuit or a series of actions that get you out of where you don't want to be, out of what you don't want to feel, out of a particular scenario. And so the brand name itself is Direction. Why Direction? Because direction is a path, is a journey, is a way of going. And it seems these days that many people are lost. Many people could have a vision, but don't know how to get there, don't know what to do. Some people just are absolutely oblivious to what's happening around them. And not only that, but are limited on the basis of how they believe and what they perceive. And the whole purpose of Direction is to help be a light. And it's something that's just kind of grown in and of itself. I've worn the apparel on multiple of my videos. I've worn it and promoted it on any and all social platforms, which, if you're not following me, CLOS Student 5, every platform. So far it's been just kind of like a one-man band for the most part, and I thank God that through it I've been able to learn so much, meet so many people, travel a good amount, and we're still in the building phase. Right now we're in the phase of getting affiliates and athletes to help promote, help share the message, because even though there are a lot of people that are lost, a lot of people that want to figure something out but don't know how, there's a lot of people that have already found their path, that have worked fairly hard, that are kind, genuine people no matter how much they've struggled, no matter how much they've gone through. And it's a journey. And it's been hard. It's been lonely at times. Not just in the sense of being, but in the sense of creating, in the sense of building. But even within that loneliness, I've found peace. I've found acceptance within myself, as corny as that sounds. And it's been a journey that's been necessary. And a lot of times we hear that everything happens for a reason, God allows things to happen for a reason, and we never understand or know why. There's still a lot of things that I personally don't know or understand why they happened, or if they happened the way they happened for a particular reason, or why it didn't happen differently. It's things that I still don't have answers for. Yet, at the end of the day, if it hadn't happened at all, or period, I would be in a completely different place. I would be a completely different person. And I may not have impacted the people that I've impacted, or impacted in the way that I have impacted. And that kind of comes from looking back and being in a better place, at a better place, in multiple different areas. There are obviously areas that still need some work, but there's reasons why they haven't worked out the way that they've needed to. And that's because I haven't become the person that I need to. I haven't become the person I need to be in order to handle that, in order to be that in that situation. And there could have been a lot of things that could have or should have been avoided. And all we can really do is just learn from it, make the most of it, and yeah. I wasn't really planning on getting on this topic. I was just coming to say that we have hats. Share the message, spread the message. If you'd like to support, link in the description, 10% off. If you really want to support, don't even use the code. But yeah, and we're always looking for more people to collaborate with, so hit me up on social media, CLOS395, CLOS395, and I'd be more than happy to talk with you and see what we can do. I'd like to hear about your journey, what you've done, what you've been doing, and figuring things out, honestly. I'm always looking for more people to connect with, to not only help better my life and my path, but also so I can help better yours, theirs. I forget what point of view I was talking in or how to refer. Yeah, one of my favorite things that's come about this journey, being who I am and who I've become, and the brand itself, is just, in a sense, being the embodiment of what it means to strive for better. And obviously there's people out there that have done more, or people that are doing more, but yet those people weren't able to touch the lives that I've touched. And I will never be able to touch the lives that they've touched, because it was ordained that they touch the lives they're meant to in a particular way at a certain time. I'm meant to touch the lives that I'm meant to in a particular way, in a certain time, and at a certain place. And once you start to take that in, once you start to understand that, and really deeply understand that, how you move becomes a lot more consistent. Who you are becomes more authentic. And that's honestly one of the most important things these days, that people are looking for authenticity. And they're looking for somebody to connect with, somebody that will hear them out, and oftentimes even solve them out. People want to be heard, people want to be understood, but people also want to be helped. But we live in a time where people aren't interested in asking for help, or are programmed to not ask for help, are programmed to figure it out on their own. And at the end of the day, I had to figure out a lot of things on my own. I'm still figuring out a lot of things on my own, but yet I have a network of people that I can teach. I have a network of people that I can rely on. I know that there are people in my network that know something that I don't, that know more than me, that have done more, can help me. But it's also the other way around, where I can help them. I know things that they don't. I can teach them things that could take a long time to learn, or would take a long time to find. And that's one of the most beautiful things that somebody can tap into and figure out. And if you think you don't have what it takes to do that, I can already tell you you're wrong. I can already tell you that somebody put that in your head. We all have unique gifts, we all have unique talents. It's a matter of if we decide to use them. There's nothing different between me and you. There's nothing different between you and a multimillionaire. There's nothing different between me and a thug. There's nothing different between anybody with anybody here. Some people have disabilities, some people have traumas, some people have challenges. But yet, if we look at the other side, there are many people that have less than us, as in less than you and me. that are doing better, that are doing more, that are at a completely different level. Me being someone with 2 legs, 2 arms, a head, a healthy body, I've seen people with no legs still doing the things that I do. People not taking care of themselves properly still excelling more than I am at this point in time. And that's not to say that there's anything special about them, or even to disregard that they have a unique gift or talent. They started earlier than I did. They've accomplished more than I have, and therefore they have earned everything that they have. That means that if I apply myself more, if I commit myself more, I will then achieve more. Because I've earned it. Not because I deserved it, but because I've earned it. And the same thing applies for you. If you really, really want to get the most out of life, if you really want to change your situation, if you really want to get out of your bad habits, if you really desire to, you will make it happen. And I will say it's a lot easier when you have a system in place, a support system, and a lot of us don't have that. We don't have somebody by our side pushing us forward, cheering us on, or telling us that we're doing great, or giving us feedback. We don't have that. Not everybody does. From my experience, coming from one of the lowest points in my life, where I had lost everything, essentially, felt like I did. And it was heartbreak. That's what it was. An infatuation, over-infatuation of someone, a scenario, a dream, an outcome. One of the best support systems, and it's not often talked about, it's not often mentioned or promoted. The best support system one can have, aside from yourself, because you have to be your own cheerleader, you have to support yourself and cheer yourself on, pick yourself up when you're down. But you are the second best cheerleader that there is. First and foremost is not your mother, it's not your father, it's not your grandparents, it's not your siblings, it's not your friends. It's Jesus. Jesus Christ, God Himself, is your number one cheerleader, is your number one supporter. He has instilled gifts, talents inside of you. He has laid things out the way they've been laid out. He has laid opportunities in front of you so that you become the man, woman that you need to become. It's up to us to manage it. He has made us stewards and managers of His creation, of what He's given us. And it's up to us to take care of it. And that's one thing that I learned throughout this journey, is that it's up to me to rely on Him, but it's up to me to grow and manage what's in front of me. And the same thing applies to you. It's up to you to manage what you're currently in, what you're currently doing. If you're not where you want to be financially, what skills can you work on to improve that? If you're not where you are physically, or where you want to be physically, it's up to you to analyze and see how you can get out of that. If you're not where you want to be mentally, you need to figure out what it is that needs to change. If you're not where you want to be emotionally, you have to figure out why that is. And it's not easy whatsoever. And as I continue on this journey of personal development, of helping others strive for better, find their direction, as I continue on this journey, I want to help more people. I encourage you to subscribe, come back, turn the notification on so that you don't miss a video, as tacky as it is, and follow me on any and all social platforms, CLOS395, every platform. And even if you don't, even if you decide to just kind of move on or skip any of those calls to actions, which I can't blame you. We've only just met within this one yap session. You don't know me, I don't know you, but I want you to strive for better. Remember that. I want you to be better. I want you to do better, and I want you to live better. So I encourage you. If you have nobody, subscribe, follow. If you have somebody, be completely open and transparent, and let them know that you want them to be straight up with you. You want them to help you, and you want them to lift you up. Hold each other accountable. Become great together. Whether you're in a relationship, whether you're friends, siblings, parents, whatever, partners, whatever. If you have somebody, utilize it. Utilize them in a way that makes you better. Not just better for yourself, but better for them. Better for others. And if you have nobody, follow, subscribe, but more importantly, turn to God. Turn to Jesus, who is the one who comforts all, who is the one who hears all. He's the one that died for all. All including myself, all including you. But why is it so important that a man dies? People die every single day, whether it's by self or whether it's by an accident or by others. People die every day. Why does this one person's death mean anything? That's a good question. And it only means something if you believe it means something. If you believe it means nothing, it's kind of disrespectful, in a sense, given the fact that it was done for you. If you believe it means something, then you have to live up to it. You have to accept it and live with it and carry it as a reminder, not as a burden. And many people dismiss it because they didn't witness it and they didn't see it. They didn't experience it. So why exactly would it matter? That's the beauty of it, is the fact that we didn't see it, we didn't experience it, even though we deserve it. Because if you do something bad, you get a consequence. If you do something good, you also get a consequence. It's a consequence is mostly tailored to like bad, but as humans, we're not perfect. We don't always do good, and therefore, meaning we do bad. When we do bad, we are meant to be punished. Not face the consequence, we are meant to be punished. That is the outcome. And yet, a man that has never met you, per se, a man that has never talked to you, a man that has never seen you, put himself in the position of giving his life up for you, enduring pain and torture for you. It's a powerful thing. I forget how the scripture goes. I think it goes, for there is no greater love than a man. No, there is no greater love than he who lays down his life for a friend. Something along those lines. And it's just, when you take that in and you start to consider it as even a possibility, there's something that just begins to blossom as a thought. And it's the fact that somebody was willing to die for you. Somebody was willing to give up their life, their being, for someone who didn't deserve it, for someone who, quite frankly, deserved the punishment more than anything. And I don't even really know why I'm talking about this. I was not planning on touching on this at all. But I do think that you need to hear this. Just because you feel alone, just because you feel lonely doesn't mean that you're alone. And it's hard to think that, it's hard to picture that, it's hard to live by that. Unless you have a constant support system. Now, we're humans. We can't rely on each other because we hunger, we thirst, we sleep. But yet, God is eternal. God does not sleep. God does not leave. He is omnipresent. He is omniscient. He's omnipotent. So the moment you take God into account as even a possibility and begin to seek for truth outside of the things that you are being told, outside of the things that you have been taught, or the things that you have learned. If you start to actively look for truth and unravel some of the beliefs that have been put upon you, the idea and possibility of Christ dwelling in you and with you becomes more feasible. It becomes a guiding light, a lamp to your feet, and a light to your path. With that in mind, it's a lot harder for you to falter. It's a lot harder for you to stumble. It's a lot harder for you to give up. It's certainly been the one thing that's helped me. And at this point, I don't really care what happens or what people think or say about me, because at the end of the day, I know who I am. I know who Christ called me to be. I know who He's forming me into. He's forming me into the man that I need to be in order to guide you, in order to guide myself, in order to guide my family, in order to guide my network, my people, in order to be everything He needs me to be. Funny enough, it's pretty much something that I've wanted to be since I was a kid. But if you were to ask 10-year-old me what I would be doing at this point in my life, it wouldn't be this. If you were to tell 10-year-old me that this is the kind of stuff I'd be doing, I'd either tell you that you're crazy or that I don't want to be that person. That's crazy to think. I mean, considering the fact that I'm in the middle of a park talking out loud to myself, to a camera, well, my phone, technically, And that video I'm going to put on the internet for either a few tens of people, a few hundred people, a few thousand people. Just in general, I'm going to put it on the internet where anyone and everyone could see it. And that these people would have certain thoughts about me, would think of me a certain way. Some might be inspired, some might bash me, hate me, disagree with me. Some people may confront me and upon their disagreements or what have it. I would get so scared as a 10-year-old introverted, shy kid that wanted to be accepted by everyone and please everyone. If you were to tell that 10-year-old me that this is what I'd be doing now, we've come a long way, baby. So I encourage you, find a support system that works. Use a support system you have, if you have one already. And if you don't, it's time to build. It's time to create. Can't expect everything to be served on a silver platter until you work for it. Work for the diamond platter. Still don't know what that looks like or if that even exists. But you gotta do what you gotta do. And it's not a burden to do so or to think so. Remember to be better, do better, live better. Keep striving for better. I'll catch you on the next one. God bless. Peace out. Take care. Oh, my ears are starting to get cold. That was a pretty good talk. Let's either go home. All right. Ah!